And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, February 5th, 2022. It is Season 16, Episode 5. I'm Scott.
I'm RJ.
I'm Wendy.
Welcome to the show, everybody. If you'd like to get in touch with us... Hey, why does this go away? If you would like to get in touch with us, a little thing just popped up, said, hey, ready for an update? I was like, you already did this stuff. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. 334-272-9228. Check out InGameChat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can find us as well on Facebook that way, or you can email us, everyone, at InGameChat.net. We're streaming right now. Go to Twitch.tv. You can find the show and watch it while you listen to it. If you want to join in the conversation, you can call us if you want to, or get on Discord and join our chat room there, and we'll just put you right on the air with us. So check that out, twitch.tv or Discord, and you can find us. Basically, go to our website, ingamechat.net, scroll all the way to the bottom. There's your links, Discord and Twitch, where you can watch us. So welcome into the show. Really plenty to talk about here, and Lethal Migraine's already kicked it off in the chat room by saying that once again Sony has proven that they are a useless company in reference to Sony buying Bungie, which is fantastic that he would say that. It's perfect. That's not even classic Lethal Migraine. That is just on brand Lethal Migraine is what that is. But we're gonna be talking about that. That news broke either Monday or Tuesday. Maybe it was Tuesday. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Sony bought Bungie.
Yeah, all of them was not long after the Microsoft announcement.
Right. And there's
I know the plan was in place for a minute, but the timing of the release felt like made it sound like a knee-jerk reaction.
It did, and apparently the whole point was that it actually wasn't a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, it was planning
5 or 6 months in the works on this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know really, not that it matters who to believe on this thing. It doesn't matter. It's done. So whatever.
Yeah.
But I can't figure that this was something that they had put out there as far as like, hey, if anybody wants to buy us, we're totally open to talk money. Mm-hmm. And I am sure they courted a few people, that being Sony and Microsoft as well. And maybe Microsoft had the point of, well, we can go with this company or we can go with this company. Although, Activision Blizzard for this many billions of dollars, or Bungie for this many billions of dollars. And that's a good thing to bring up, because that was a lot of speculation and questions like, why is Bungie so expensive? Why does it cost so much to buy? Like, they bought, it cost more, or whatever, what Sony paid for Bungie cost more than what Microsoft paid for Bethesda. Mm-hmm. And I can list off a whole slew of Bethesda titles. Yeah. Right? And I don't necessarily know that it matters that the titles that they have. It's like, I don't necessarily know that is a factor in it. I would think it would be, for the most part, if a company's going to buy a game company, like, here's your franchises, or here's what you have from your past, and here's what you have that you can make more of, sequel, if they still own the IP. Because when you get bought like that, the IP may go to some other publisher or something like that. Kind of like the way Bungie did their breakaway from Microsoft. Now, you can have Halo if that will get us out of our agreement to work under your roof, and of course went over to Activision Blizzard to work for there, and then bought themselves their independence out of that, only to get bought into Sony's ecosystem now. Yeah. And the buyout from themselves, whenever they broke away from Activision, that's only maybe 2 years old? Or it may be longer. It doesn't feel. It feels like it's only about 2 years.
So when they broke away from
Activision? Yeah, it feels like it's been only about 2 years since that was done, but I could be wrong, because time has been a weird thing during pandemics.
Yeah. I see Bungie terminated its publishing deal with Activision in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 2 years that they get bought by Sony, I guess. I don't even know if they were struggling. I don't know if that's the thing. There's a lot. I don't think that they were. I don't know. Yeah. Like, they were like, hey, we need money. Yeah. We need somebody to buy it or invest or whatever.
Yeah. $3.6 billion.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. And yet the only thing you can think of when you think of Bungie, at least now, is Destiny. Because they don't have Halo. Microsoft owns Halo.
Yeah.
Have their own studio.
That's literally the only thing I thought about with Bungie was Destiny. I couldn't think of anything else associated with it.
They've got more. You know, they've got a few things that really they've done nothing with. I remember early in the PlayStation 2 days, I want to say it was Oni was a title, one of the launch titles, I think, for a PS2 was one of theirs. And of course, if you go further back, there was, Forerunner, I think, was another one that they did. And of course, they were owned by Apple for a while when they were working on Halo, and then Microsoft bought them so that they would make that game for their upcoming Xbox console that they were working on.
Looking up a list of their developed games, NOP, Operation Desert Storm, Minotaur, The Labyrinths of Crete, Pathways into Darkness, Marathon, Marathon 2, Marathon Infinity.
Or Marathon, that's what it was. I don't know if it's Forerunner.
Myth, The Fallen Lords, Myth 2, Soul Blighter, Oni, Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, Halo Reach, Destiny, Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Which I get that's like, hey, they have some titles under their belt, but there's only, 2 of those titles that are active.
Yeah.
Halo, which is no longer theirs.
Yeah, NOP that I've said, the first one was in 1990.
Yeah, and Destiny.
Yeah.
Now, they still own all that IP you just listed off outside of Halo. So, I mean, they could do something with that if they want to. And Bungie is working on something outside of the Destiny universe. They're working on another game of some sort. There's been some backing and all this other, some financial backing and things like that they've disclosed.
Right.
And they've outright said, we are working on another intellectual property of ours. But it's a completely original thing. It's nothing from their past that they've said. It's not to say that they won't somehow connect it to something in their past. But the point being is that we have no idea what their next game is or when we'll know anything about it either.
Yeah, we'll see it when we see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Destiny is like the just the train that never stops. It just keeps going, and that's what they keep working on. They keep building tracks for it as it's moving. So I'm not sure, excuse me, I'm not sure what the timetable is on anything new from them. I don't know that Sony had any idea of what that timetable would be on anything new from them, other than something is getting made.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of questions about that seemed. It's interesting. Bungie's getting kind of passed around, right? Because Apple, Microsoft, Activision by themselves, Sony, Nintendo's turn is coming up, I assume. But yeah, so or Nintendo's turn to buy something else. Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, Sony has bought Bungie, Nintendo, your move. What company are you buying? Which one are you picking up?
Who's available? Well, everybody's available. Doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, there's plenty there.
That was just give a good dollar amount, and suddenly you're available too.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter, but it's for sale.
It's for sale. You're for sale.
The right price.
What's that phrase? $1 million man. Everybody's got a price.
Everybody's got a price. Yep. They shoved a $100 bill in their mouth.
Yep.
Anyway,
part of their pay.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see what'll happen next. Thar 66 saying From Software. What's the other? Who does Bayonetta? That's not From. That's
Platinum Games.
Platinum. Yeah.
Platinum Games. Yeah.
I
haven't seen them active in a minute.
I know, but oddly, I would think that might be a company they look at. Like if Nintendo was going to buy one.
Well,
maybe
they did sponsor Bayonetta 2, so that's why it's exclusive on that system.
And Bayonetta 3.
And 3. So. And
there was another one that they did for, I think it was, maybe it wasn't Platinum. No. It was, oh man. There was another one, but I don't know that it was Platinum. It may have been From Software. It was a very manga anime style type of game, and I can't remember what it was. Not Vox.
It ain't Scarlet Nexus, is it?
Is that it? No, Unchained, Chain, something? What is that one?
From Software?
I don't know that it's From Software. I can't remember what it was. It may have been Platinum Games.
I'm looking.
Was it Astral Chain?
Astral Chain?
Yeah, it was Astral Chain.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, it probably was Astral Chain.
And that's Platinum Games.
From 2019. Okay.
I was looking up. And that was an exclusive. That was an exclusive as well.
Exclusive to the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last things was Nier Automata, Astral Chain, The Wonderful 101 remastered, World of Demons, something called Soul Cresta, Babylon's Fall, Babylon 3, and something called Project GG in the future to be announced.
But Astral Chain and Bayonetta have been exclusive to the Switch, and so I could easily see Nintendo saying, we're going to just buy Platinum Games. Be a big deal if they did, actually. Although, again, sitting here last week, I wasn't prepared to say that anybody else was going to get bought. And or that it was going to be Sony doing the purchasing or Bungie getting bought.
Yeah,
I did never picked for Bungie on that. Just I mean, they were 2 years by themselves.
Yeah,
and it seemed rather soon to jump back into ownership again.
Someone else's ownership. Yeah.
But not the case. We're going to jump into it because there is a whole load of stories that cover the whole Sony Bungie acquisition thing. And so we're going to get into that a little bit later on in the show. Let's talk about, while we got time, let's talk about what we've played. RJ, you're up first.
Okay. I've been playing a little more of GTA Online, so for the most part for the week. But this morning, I got back on Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. Like I said, I started over from scratch.
Right.
Because I was trying to get familiar with the battle system and everything like that. And thanks to your tip, what you told me about parrying, it's just a matter of timing with guarding. That made the battling much easier than what I.
You playing on normal?
I'm playing on normal. Put it on normal difficulty. The thing was though, trying to determine what you can parry and what you can't, because I got to Cert and took him out. The thing that got me though was I really missed the fact that there was no tutorial in this thing. You just have to round the voices in your head.
They tried for a tutorial there at that first fight, I think.
Yeah, but that's
not really.
A tutorial. They just threw you in the deep end and said,
there's no prompt that comes up to say, "Hey, block this way" or "attack like this." There's nothing there that tells you that. There is absolutely nothing that pops up on the screen to tell you this button will do a strong.
This is your fast attack. This is your hard attack. This is your melee attack. This is how you evade.
Nothing.
No, didn't tell you that double tapping evade lets you roll.
You had to look. You had to pause the game, go look at controls, and see what it listed as.
Yeah.
I don't mind that so much. I mean, I understand that, but it would have been nice of them to even start that out and say, "Please look over the. Please go to the menu to look at your controls to understand what to do."
It would have been that's like I was suggesting earlier. I said since this game is all about perception and mental awareness, I mean, it would have been cool if you put it in the background somewhere. Look around and see. Oh, you see that? This will let you know that this does this.
Wendy and I were watching one of Ninja Theory's other games that we were looking at, DMC.
Yeah,
that they had done it because I had forgotten that they did that version, that Devil May Cry version, DMC.
Black-haired
Dante? Yeah.
That one, okay.
That's the one that veered from the path,
heavily,
massively. But it was made by Ninja Theory, and I remember enjoying that. I did not. I think I tried to play Devil May Cry way back in the day when it first released as a rental from like Blockbuster or something.
Yeah.
And I tried to play it, but I just didn't. It did not hook me, and I didn't. Whatever the loop is or the catch is, it never hooked into me. Anyway, when DMC released a new one, I think I did a GameFly or something, played it, and it hooked me right from the beginning. It had this whole, basically this God of War button mash, hack and slash thing going on with what it was doing. And we went back and we watched that, and I'm only making this connection now, but we were just watching the opening level. Tutorial all over the place.
Yeah.
Why, pause, why, that's your whatever attack. Jump, do this button, and that's your launch attack, which, you can get aerial maneuvers with.
I think what it is Devil May Cry, whichever version you played, it relied on stylish combos.
Well,
you have to have that you have to have that button sequence.
There's a lot more to the controls in Devil May Cry than there is, obviously, to Hellblade. Hellblade has very little controls.
Yeah, it ain't much. But it ain't much before the game is pretty effective. But getting back to the playthrough, what I was going through, that little tip about parrying came in handy because it made fighting so much easier. What also got me was there was a point in the battle against Cert where that satchel or whatever that Senua has on her hip started glowing. And
Yes.
I just noticed it, and I'm like, I don't know what that's for, but it's getting bigger and bigger as I keep dodging and evading these attacks.
They call it focus, or what
yeah,
do they call it?
It's called focus. But the thing was, when I first played it, it said the voices in Senua's head was telling me things like someone's behind you, things like that, or little tips and things like that. So it got to a point where it kept telling me to focus. I'm like, fine, I am focused. Okay, I know where the blade's coming from. I have to focus to see where the blade's coming from. Is it a high attack? Is it a swiping attack? Do I dodge left? Do I dodge right? Do I back off? Things like that. I'm focused, right? And not knowing that the game was trying to tell me, hit your focus button. I wouldn't think about hitting the focus button. I mean, I can see him fine. I don't need to zoom in on him. I can see him fine. He's big enough to take the screen. I can see all the fire that he's got around him. But it was telling me to hit the focus button because that satchel that was glowing, that was like bullet time in Max Payne.
Yeah.
So when I hit the focus button, everything slowed down. It's like, okay, he's stuck. I'm still moving. Okay, wail on him. So that was what that thing was all about. I had no prompt or anything. I didn't know what the game was trying to tell me.
Yeah.
So I was like finding out on the fly. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, so yeah, that comes in handy.
Finding out on the fly is the subtitle of that game.
Yeah.
Hellblade, Finding Out on the Fly.
Yeah. So that helped me get through CERT the second time through because I didn't focus at all that first time because I was trying to get used to the attack pattern, what he does and how he does it, and what I need to do when he does certain actions on the field. So I got through that, and I really started wondering about the playthrough of CERT's level where you had to go through the gates, the fire gates. So it got to the point where I see a gate, and like I got to go through that. I know I'm going to have to go through this fire level or whatever.
Right.
So
you have to go through this hallucination.
It's a hallucination she's going through. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, the first time was simple, but I got to figure out the map. So I'm like, I get to
because that's where I got lost.
Yeah, I get to the thing that activates it. I'm like, okay, I start here and I got to run to this gate over here somewhere. So I'm like making maps around there because the first time I played through it before the restart, I died because I got lost and whatnot. So I started going around the area, looking around the area for the quickest route to get from point A to B. Because if I stick around too long, I'm going to get killed. So I need to avoid that. Because,
but from what I understand, I mean, there is a linear path. In other words, when you start that fire section, you can only go, because I remember thinking the same thing. I'm like, I can go drop here and I can go straight across. So let's activate. And I did, but there was fire in front of me, and I thought, oh, they're going to make me go in this other completely different way that I have to go to get to the other side.
So find the path on the fly, right? But I mean, even though you do map it sometimes, there was one section where I think it was the second fire gate where I had to go through this cave and go up a hill, and I'm like, man, this is a long way from point A to point B. There's got to be a shortcut somewhere. And then I saw the little white paint on the thing that indicates to me that you can interact with this thing. So I'm like, oh, can I jump off of this? Oh, I can jump off of this, and it's a straight shot to the fire gate. So I activated the thing, ran back, jumped off the spot that you could interact with, ran, and then the pylons fell or something. So I had to go through this house.
Right.
So I had to go through the house.
See, they direct you where you
direct me to go. So go up the steps and go over the roof and everything like that, and I get to where I'm supposed to be. I wasn't expecting a battle there, though, at the end, but it was. So I got through that fine.
See, I thought it was originally I thought it was time-based. In other words, you have this long to get from when you activate the fire.
The first gate does do that because you do have time you have a very limited amount of time to get from point A. If you're not running from the get-go, you're going to get killed. And that was something else that got me about the game. I know you said that it doesn't really matter that much about dying, but dying in games, it really doesn't matter much.
Yeah.
Especially something like a Dark Souls or even Uncharted. You just got to say if I can go back and you're fine like that, right? But having that rot go up makes it matter. I think you said earlier it doesn't really matter in the end, but at the time it really does.
The point of it is I don't know if it matters or not. It never got that bad for me, but it felt like that was just a looming threat that they gave you to give you some sort of a...
I'll tell you what it did for me. It gave me incentive to stop
to not
messing up.
die.
Stop messing up. Find the right path. Don't miss your guards. I mean, do the right things here and there because, like I said, it indicates that dying matters in this game. Where I've been playing games all the time where getting killed really doesn't matter. There's no real drawback to it.
I mean, not to spoil anything, it was just interesting that the further I got in the game, even though I may not have been dying, the more the rot would show on her.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. I mean, if it reaches her, they'd say if it reaches a certain point, she's
I know, but like
gone.
when you get towards the end of the game, like even if you haven't died, the rot just kind of really gets
Well, I mean, the thing is, like,
you.
it gets worse. You dying perpetuates it, but it said during the cutscene beforehand that it's going to grow, but it's not going to. But you're going to perpetuate it if you keep getting killed all the time. Yeah. And I've died 4 times already in this set. One time I lost to Cert, and I had 3 in that running from the fire in the house when I had to crawl over the roof of the house because I wasn't expecting a battle. And this is what got me killed all the time. I kept hitting L1 to guard instead of R1. R1 is to guard, L1 is to run. And I'm so focused on running, getting out of there as soon as possible. I kept hitting L1 instead of R1. So that cost me 2 extra deaths in that. So that's what I was trying to focus on. So I had to like reset and just think for a minute. Wait a minute, what am I doing wrong? I keep hitting run. So getting through that, having to focus on keeping the death count low and making sure to listen to the voices this time. When it tells you to focus, it's not telling you to focus on the battle. It means hit the focus button so you can activate your slowing down time and whatnot. So beating Cert, got the little trophy, and I'm like, now I got to go to the Valraven, the illusionist, basically, and that's where I've stopped at.
Okay,
playing so far.
Yeah, you're taking your time through it, but. You got back out of the fireplace, right?
Yeah, I got out of the fire.
Yeah, because that was once I beat him, it was getting back that I got lost. I kept going in circles.
Yeah, there's the backtracking thing. You have to go through all the fire gates, so just find a fire gate and then look around, and from memory you have to go back. Yeah. There's no bonfires to travel, no fast travel. You just have to go back.
There were some little cauldrons or what? Not cauldrons, but there was There were lit. Whatever, and I thought, well, maybe
little fire pits, or whatever,
and I was like, maybe I follow those. No, that's not it either.
No, in my case, I just said go through the fire gates.
Yeah,
find every fire gate and just go through there.
Anything else you played?
No, that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are going to take a break, but before we do, since we're right up on it, and I forgot to do this, let me do it now. There. When we come back, we'll go over what Wendy has played and what I have played. And then we'll jump into the Sony talk here and go over that because that was the big news of the week. Was that all of the big news of the week? I thought there was more.
Well, that was one that dominated.
Oh no, the other one was the GTA 6 situation. Yeah. Which ain't much to tell you really. That can easily be covered in a quick little. Here's what they said. This is all we know. That's it. So anyway, we'll be right back with more of in-game chat music here from a game called The Wanderer. So there is a game on Steam, or I think it's Steam, anyway, called Wanderer. And so I tried, and maybe it's a VR game. I can't remember. I tried to find music for it. Instead, I found music for a mobile game called The Wanderer, some app, and there was music from it. And I thought, the music sounds fine. I don't know anything about the game, so sure, we'll use that. That's what you're about to hear. We'll be back with more of in-game chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from Dying Light 2, which released this past week. Track is called Run, Jump, Fight. Reviews weren't really all over the place. They were about mid-range to high on the scores. Nothing really low as far as what I saw on the scores. I don't know. It's. I saw it going for pretty cheap on some sell sites. Mm-hmm. Like people who either had copies or what were selling for like $45. Digital copies for either, I think it was for Xbox. So yeah. I'm not sure. It was never, the first game wasn't on my radar, and the second game was not really on my radar either.
Does it feel like more of the same, really?
Looked a lot like more of the same. I'm sure there's been some updates to it. Because, I mean, I said the same thing, and Horizon 2 comes out on the 18th? And if you look at it, it's like, more of the same.
It's just, well, it's a story-based game. It's more like put Last of Us. It's more of the same. It's just a different continuation of the story. Mm-hmm. So pretty much the same thing with Horizon Zero Dawn. I was looking at the reviews of Dying Light just to pull up 84% on PC Gamer, like a 7 out of 10 of IGN, and 77 on Metacritic.
Like I said, it was more mid to the upper side. Nothing really low. Like you won't find anything I think below a 6 out of a 10 scale. I don't think you'll find anything below a 6 or maybe even a 5. But average, pretty good.
Yeah, average. I would say average. Yeah, maybe a little above average.
With I think there is multiplayer with the game, but I don't think it's a focus of the game. So that being said, might be a pickup on either when it hits Game Pass or when it just
or if the price is right. Yeah.
It's a real low price, exactly. Then it would be for me. Let's go to the phones and talk to Chris. Hey, Chris.
What's going on?
Not much, man. What's going on with you?
I did pick up the new Dying Light 2. I liked the first one, and of course I heard that the multiplayer hadn't been phased in yet. I think they're having some issues, and they got to do some updates to fix that for some reason. It's not available at launch, but
it was not as far as I know, it's not really a core factor of the game itself. I think the multiplayer. I think it's more the single player story. Or can you co-op that game?
Supposedly that's what they were promising, and that was one of the selling features they were advertising for the development of it.
Huh.
This reminds me of what happened with Dead Space. They put that multiplayer in there. It's definitely not the focus of the game. We played Dead Space, but it did have like a multiplayer or co-op type.
Yeah, they did that with Uncharted 2, and then they did that with all the Uncharteds afterwards, along with The Last of Us. And it was a weird. It had its group. There were people who totally was down for the multiplayer of those games. It never struck me as like, you know what, when I'm done playing this adventure Indiana Jones game, I want to play some multiplayer with it. No, it never crossed my mind.
Yeah, me too. I'm playing through the Uncharted, and I love 4, which I'm sure they took a lot of inspiration from the Goonies on that one.
Just to tell you, we're playing through these now. I've been there, but it is Wendy's first time. So keep the spoilers low on Uncharted 4 if you could. We're right now we're working through Uncharted 3, and I have just gotten to the point where you meet up with the I guess the rebel forces or whatever they are, the guys with the horses in the desert that come and help you out. So chapter 20, I think we're about 86% of the way through of the game. So, and once we're done with that, we'll jump into 4. But so we're going through it ourselves. You're playing it. What mode did you decide to go with, by the way?
I went with the middle one, with the balanced one with 60 FPS.
I've heard that is a revelation to experience.
Yeah, it was fun. I've never compared and looked at the graphics of the old PlayStation version, but I love the gameplay and the storyline the most. And like you, I just wanted to get through it as quick as possible.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've been doing on the previous games. I'm just throwing them on easy, going through, getting the story, and then going through, and I'll do it again with Uncharted 4. Is there something else that I was going to be picking up? I've been debating jumping back into Horizon for the sequel that's coming out.
I'm going to eventually pick it up too as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'll pick up that game at launch. Probably not.
I'm doubtful on my end because I haven't even started the original Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a minute before I get through that, because right now my focus is going to be on Hellblade now. and now I'm thinking about the sequel to that. So that's
No,
going to be a long way away.
That's
anyway.
down the line, yeah.
But then again, I got so much in my backlog anyway to pick up.
And the sequel to that will be exclusive to PC and Xbox.
PC, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'll play it eventually.
do you play anything else, Chris? Well, you picked up Dying Light too, right? How are you enjoying that?
I haven't popped it in and installed it yet.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I want to try to finish the Uncharted new game series.
Yeah, okay. So you're going to do what, Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy as well?
Yeah, I just got into Lost Legacy and I beat 4 last night.
Are you on a speakerphone? It doesn't sound like you are, but are you?
I don't know. I think it's on my end or something.
Yeah, it's very strange because last week we sort of had this and then it went away, and now this week it's back again. I don't know. It has got a strange little thing with this phone line.
How does that sound now?
It still sounds the same.
Okay, I'm on speakerphone now, so it didn't change.
Yeah, it didn't change anything. So I don't know what it is. Not sure. But so yeah, you're going through Uncharted, and then you're going to move on to Dying Light, or well, you're going to move on to Lost Legacy, and then go from there.
Yeah, I'm going through Lost Legacy now, and I want to finish it up, and then probably jump into Dying Light whenever that gets done.
All right. Well, I was going to ask you some more questions, but that phone thing is just really, really strange. I don't know why that's happening. I don't know what causes it, because last week your phone was fine. Did some adjustments and everything worked. I don't know what's going on with it now. So, because I was going to ask you. Oh, hello. You there? Chris?
Is this better?
No, I don't know what that is. That's
Okay, what about now?
That's a little bit better there, I think.
I think it's our cordless phone system or something, because now I'm on a real phone.
Okay, well, that's got some weird static through there or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's an old phone cord connection from the handset. So,
Okay, I was going to say, what I can hear of you actually sounds pretty good, but there's still some of that static around there.
It's creating a lot of static on both ends. It's from the swinging cable between the handset and the everything. So.
Great.
Oh, well, I guess that'll be okay. Now we know when it's the cordless phones that's doing it.
Interesting. All right. Well, Chris, what was I going to ask you? Okay, so the modes that you picked, did you try them all, or did you just do the one?
I just did the middle one, the performance, and just jumped straight in.
Okay, because I was gonna be curious about what the 120 frame per second play would have looked like. I'm gonna try them all whenever I get around to it, but I've already opted to stick with the 60 frame per second one, only for the fact that the 4K 30 frames just isn't going to make probably that much of a difference from what I played 1080, in the HD whatever version that was 30 frames per second from way back when. I don't think it's going to be that much of a jump or of a difference in playing it. But I think that 30 frames to 60 frames per second, that is a big jump and a big deal. And so I'm really, really anxious to try that out. And just to see how it goes, try out the 120 frame per second one that drops it down to 1080p. But I heard a lot of people said, no, it's really nice. The frame rate's great, but it drops it down so low that you get really some bad looking visuals on it, apparently. So yeah. That's what I was reading about a few people, and I thought that's fine. I don't need 120. I can stick with 60.
But you played through all of them before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't 4 have a lot of influence from the Goonies movie?
I don't know. Because it involved pirates, that's one of the easiest.
Yeah, I had a few vibes like this seems familiar.
There may have even been some references in the one-liners and things like that that are written in there.
Not necessarily that, but there's like the general flow of what was kind of going on at the time. This reminds me of what happened in the Goonies movie, kind of at the end. So yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like from what we've seen of the film, a lot is pulled from that, from 4 and from 3, I think. But anyway, I'm not too big on the film. Really get around to it when I can. Your phone's getting some static in there, Chris.
It's just messing up. I guess I'll just let y'all go then.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to you. We'll try again next week, man.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Take care.
Take care now.
Bye bye.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just to get you into it, that's what I have been playing, by the way, was still going through Uncharted 3. Something I forgot to mention when I was talking about this, and I really want to, I haven't talked to Amy in a while. I kind of want to reach out to her and see if she remembers this. And if it's something that I don't even remember it in the original because it's been forever since I played it. And I think this goes back to Uncharted 2, not 3, but Uncharted 2. There were these faces on the wall and these statues that were like, I could look at them and see that, oh, that's neat. They're the picture of the face is oh gosh, I don't even know what I'm trying to call it.
Was it an ice level?
No.
It wasn't an ice part.
No, it was in the Tibetan ruins and things like that, but not necessarily inverted, but the face was drawn concave-like, I guess, sort of the impressed into the wall.
Yeah.
Not out, but in.
Yeah.
And and any time that is done, and if it's done correctly, it gives an optical illusion of the face just following you, looking at you, because of the way that it's done. That's a real life thing that somehow they put into a game and made it work. Now, I don't know if the thinking part of me is it designed that way? In other words, did they take an actual optical illusion and put it in the game and it still works that way? Or because of the way the game is done and it's like a 2D flat screen type thing that you're looking at, did they have to code it to follow you, and they wanted you to think that, no, this is how it's built. It's done like you would normally see the optical illusion in real life, and this is what it would look like if it was real life. This isn't, and we've programmed the face to move, but it gives you the idea that the optical illusion is there in front of you. Very hard to explain what I'm trying to say here, but they did that, and
physically it's easy, but in a game, do you have to just put it in there, or do you have to put some code in there to make it look that way?
To make it do that, to make the optical illusion work, or is that? And then my question is, did you guys do that? My second question is, did you guys do that, or did the guys who did the remake, Blue Point, I think it's Blue Point, the guys who did the remasters, did they put that in there, or was that yours? And if it was yours, how did you? Is that just the optical illusion doing it?
How'd you pull it off?
Yeah. I'm really curious about that, if that was the case. And it's also been interesting to go through 1, 2, and 3 back to back like we're doing, and seeing the jumps of quality increase and change. Like 1 still looks good for what it was, especially being the first one in the series, being an early PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get that experience when I do mine, because I've got the games, but I haven't. I don't think I play them until I get to 4 anyway. I got them on 3. Yeah, but I did get the collection. It was a low price, and it was all together in one bundle.
The remastered collection
the
thing
was all together. So I picked that up. So I won't get that same jumping experience, because all I played was 1 on PS3. Yeah. The first one.
They were all on PS3,
That's all. That was the one I played. The first one. I haven't played 2, picked it up. 3 I got during, I think during Black Friday one year. 4, and the rest I picked up later on. They're all on PS4, so I won't get that same experience of seeing the jump from original to remaster.
You might.
Unfortunately.
You might. I mean, why not?
It's been a long time since I played 1. I don't remember what it looks like.
Well, yeah, it was a long time since I'd played 1 as well. The last time I'd gone back and played through the entire game was when it released, and we said that was 2009? No. I can't remember what year we found that out was. 2009 was Uncharted 2. So maybe 2007?
The first
was Uncharted?
First came out? No?
Might have been 2007 for that one. 2009 was Uncharted 2. 2011 was Uncharted 3, and then 2016 was Uncharted 4. 2017 was Lost Legacy a year later. So yeah, I'm
07.
It was 07. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-year, 7, 9, 11, 16.
Yeah. November 19th, 2007.
Yeah. But you can, if you have the remastered collection, you can go back and play through all of that if you want to. Because that's exactly what I'm doing, game after game. And they're right there on the same disc. You don't even have to switch out disc or anything like that.
Wow.
Do what?
I mean, all of them on one.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. The interesting thing was, so we went from 1 to 2 and saw an increase because you see these things like the snow. You can see that the game has gotten a lot longer as far as time and length that you're playing through. Not only that, you don't really stay in the jungles. You move around from different places in 2 to a lot of different things. And then there's the train sequence. There is the hotel sequence.
Yeah, you got a bunch of more locales, bigger game, more locales to go through. So yeah, it's not just jungle.
And there's a lot of set pieces that are built in that. And then the jump to 3 is, and I've said this, the best example I can give you of 3 is to play the chateau level, because it's at the very beginning, pretty early in the game. After you play as young Drake and everything else, once you get past that little intro level, you're in the jungle, and you start playing, and it's just amazing to see the way that they've done with light and shadow through the trees and everything else. We saw this stuff, whatever, but I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And then you come upon this little stream of water, and even that looks better than the water that you messed with back in Uncharted 2. And even Uncharted 1. Uncharted 1 ends on the water. It starts on the water and ends on the water. And it's amazing to see how they've been able to change the way water works and looks and everything else by the time they get to the third game. Still on the same system that they built the first one for. But it's amazing the jump. You know, I guess it was hard for me to kind of realize how that moved by playing them as they released. Because I had other games show me like, oh, here's what we've been able to do better and that sort of thing. So I was able to go through it. But seeing it through the lenses of these games really shows a jump from 1 to 2, and then a massive jump from 2 to 3. And then it'll be another massive jump from 3 to 4, obviously, because a completely new system and everything else. But yeah, 3 has just been a blast to play. Just a blast. Even though it's been a situation where it's like, God, how much can they throw at this guy, at your character and all this other stuff that he has to go through to survive all of this? You know, one of those things where it's just outlandish, but that's exactly what it's supposed to be. So yeah. But no, that was really good to go through, and I'm anxious to get to 4 as well. But I forgot about that little tidbit about the faces. I thought that was really, really, because immediately when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, it's all built inwards, and so that's going to give an optical illusion here. And sure enough, it gave the optical illusion. And then that just raised so many questions in my head. The first time we saw it, we were just like, oh, go back and look at it. And then we were going down a row of statues. These were just faces into a wall eventually. And then later on, we're going down a hallway that has statues with faces done the same way the wall faces were. So they watch you, they look at you as you're going through this hallway. And I just thought, that is so... I don't remember noticing it the first time I played through it. And I'm like, wouldn't I have noticed this? Wouldn't it have been something that stuck out for me? But
you probably were focused on enemies. If it was your first time through, you were probably focused on enemies and things that could get you.
Maybe. I don't know.
As opposed to faces on a statue in the wall.
But that's the point. That's kind of why I want to ask her. Is like, is this your guys' work or is this the remaster guys' work? Because I don't remember it. I feel like it would have stuck out when I first played it, or I would have noticed it or something. But I don't. Anyway, I don't remember it at all. Wendy, what did you play?
I played Animal Crossing. I know, imagine.
Didn't you play something else, though? No.
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 I'm looking for something to play. I'm investigating.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. And one day I'm going to surprise everyone, and I'm going to play something that has nothing to do with Nintendo.
Or Animal Crossing or anything like that.
Lethal Migraine, because, he likes to say, well, Wendy played Nintendo. But anyway, that's about all for me. I've been, enjoying watching you.
Go through Uncharted there?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got a certain genre you like, gaming-wise?
I don't know. I mean, I like the Devil May Cry.
She likes watching it. She hasn't played it.
I want to play it.
Yeah. But the Ninja Theory version.
Okay.
Not the earlier versions or even the later versions.
Not the Capcom version, but the.
She wants the version that has the music in it.
Right, because I like. Yeah, I like the band. That's how I find a game I like. It has a band in there that does the music. I love the band, so I want to play the game.
Okay. Right. Hey, however she gets into it, get into it.
Hey, she was quite pleased with the music work on Hellblade. So
because the guy,
exactly,
he did the music for that too. So.
Yeah, exactly. Which was interesting. Whenever I found out that he also did music for Devil May Cry, and I thought, well, Ninja Theory must have a nice little relationship with old boy there. So, which apparently they do, and it works out fantastically. So we're going to take a break here, but the song that's coming up next, the music that's coming up next, reminded me of a game that I'd forgotten to say that I had played, and I actually really love this game. It's $3. It costs $3 on Steam, and it's called Vampire Survivors. It looks a little bit. There's a guy there's one guy made it, and he's actually on one of the forum boards that I'm on. But and I may reach out to him, see if he wants to do an interview. It is a rogue-like type situation. You have a character that. You can move the character around the screen. You can move them around the field of play, whatever you want to call it, which is endless, by the way. You can just continue moving forever in this field, but it fires weapons automatically. It just does it itself. You just move. That's it. And so you have a bunch of. It's kind of like reverse bullet hell. You're the one dishing out all the bullets.
It auto aims?
No.
No, but
some upgrades that you get will auto aim. But most are just on a cool. They strike on a cooldown, strike on a cooldown, strike on a cooldown, that sort of thing. And as you go through and level your character up, you will get either new weapons to use, new upgrades to the weapons you have, healing abilities. All sorts of there's like a ton of different things, and the whole point is for you to survive. If you can survive for 30 minutes, then you win the round. But basically, you're just going through and collecting. They'll drop some, XP every time you kill an enemy, that sort of thing.
Right.
And there's a couple of times there'll be treasure chests that'll pop up. When you scroll over those, it'll give you gold and then one free upgrade. If you get lucky and find something, they'll give you 5 upgrades and a whole lot of gold. It's just, random how that works. But yeah, you're just there to survive and see how long you can go on a run. And then when you're done, you have gold that can unlock permanent abilities, or you can unlock characters, new characters. All the characters have different traits. Some have a faster move speed. Some have a very low cooldown. Some have an extra upgrade added in from the very beginning. There's a lot of different things to it. It's $3 on Steam. It needs to be on the Switch so I can bring it with me and take it portable.
You make it sound like it's tailor-made for the Switch, actually.
It feels like it is, and a lot of people say it also feels like it's very similar to some other game that I had never heard of. And so,
I took the time to pull the website up. Yeah, $3 on Steam, $2.99.
Yeah.
7 characters, 22 weapons, 12 power-ups, 10 pickups, 23 achievements, one stage. Just survive for 30 minutes, right?
There's 2 stages, actually. I unlocked another stage.
Oh, sorry. I'm reading the content in the demo web version.
Oh, okay.
Supports mouse, keyboard, controller, and touchscreen. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. You just move character around and try to survive. Vampire Survivors, that's what it's got. You're fighting against bats and skeleton armies and ghosts and, all sorts of different zombies and things like that.
Yeah.
And so it's just survive. Yeah. And the odd thing is that there are, you can look these up if you want to, but there's kind of like weapon recipes. So in other words,
like Dead Space?
Yeah. If you get a certain ability and you upgrade it to level 5, and then you get a certain other ability and upgrade it all the way, then it's kind of like you're taking this plus this and it equals like a mix of the two that is massively powerful.
Yeah.
But the combinations are all kinds of different. You just kind of have to discover them Although you can also go online and look them up.
Oh, yeah. So it's basically, let's see what happens when I put this with this.
Sort of. It depends.
Yeah.
Like, so garlic is one of the power-ups, because obviously vampires garlic. And so if you get garlic, it puts a kind of a
Like level 5 garlic?
you can level it up to level 5.
Okay, level 5 garlic.
Like, it starts out as a small...
Potent garlic.
Yeah. It starts out as a small few rings around your character.
Yeah, okay.
That will damage enemies that come into that area.
Okay.
As you upgrade it, the area of effect gets bigger.
It gets bigger, yeah.
And also deals more damage as you upgrade. And it's fantastic because you will get, I'm not kidding, you will get hundreds of enemies surrounding you and just closing in on you.
Yeah, I was looking at the trailer here. You pretty much constantly surrounded all the time, yeah.
Not at the beginning, obviously. It starts out slow.
Oh, yeah.
The 10-minute mark is a rough one. You really need to build up your character pretty well by the 10-minute mark. Once 10 minutes hits, 10 or 11 minutes, you get swarmed by these skeleton guys that come through. Now, if you can survive for like 60 seconds or maybe it's even 90 seconds to get away from there, you kind of get a nice little slowdown again as everything builds up. And then at the 15-minute mark, more and that sort of thing. So it's really about, but it's also luck of the draw. Because when you level up, you get 3 things to pick from. And those are random every single time. You know, it could be an upgrade to a weapon you already have. It could be a brand new weapon in all 3 slots. It could be ability upgrades, like your movement speed is faster, the cooldown is shorter, they do less damage, you do more damage, whatever the case may be. So anyway, great game. It's on Steam. $3 is all it costs. And look up videos on it on YouTube if you want to try it out and see if it's something you might like. $3, I was like, sure, that's fine. So here is music from Vampire Survivors. This is the Mad Forest level, which is the very first level you start with. We have the library level coming up later on. That's one of the second ones you'll unlock. I don't know how many there are. It's in early access, so the dude's constantly updating it. So anyway, we'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music from Uncharted 3, actually. And it's from the actual chateau level called Oh No Chateau, where it catches on fire. It was great, right? And you go through the woods, and then you come to the chateau, and it's like falling apart, which again, you look at the level design that they had in Uncharted 3, and this chateau is, again, another... Like I said, that level, the Oh No Chateau level, is a showcase of what they have been able to do since Uncharted 2, since Uncharted 1. They put you in the jungle and show, here's how we've done lighting and shadows and things like that. You're going to cross over a stream or something, because water plays a big part of the game later on. When you're on the boat, not even just on the boat, but when there's this whole shipyard level where things are floating and going with the physics of what the water and the waves do. So when you jump on it and you've pressed down on that object you're standing on, that causes the water to move out of the way, which also then affects everything that's sitting on top of the water that's near you, and having that also fluctuate as well. And so all of that's going on because they've got this whole water system. Then a big giant wave comes over and does that. But then there was, But then there was the section on the cruise ship like thing when it turned over, when it got on its side, and you could see the water effects working that way. And there's this whole chase sequence and all this other stuff. But the chateau level shows off how they've come with lighting, shadows, the water, and then you get to the chateau itself, and it's all run down and just old and decrepit and everything else. And so looking at that, knowing where they were going to go with Last of Us, was like, this is like a precursor to what they were working on for Last of Us. Because while I was in that whole level, I was looking at it having Last of Us vibes where everything is just, nature has overgrown everything and taken back everything. And so looking at it there, I was like, wow, this is interesting. This was probably something that was leading into where they were going because they knew they were going in this direction. Said, let's try it out in Uncharted. Let's see if we can get these textures right and everything else. Just to see that it was done. And then, of course, the whole thing catches on fire, and now they're showing, hey, here's our fire effects that we have. Because, again, fire comes into play later on in the game. Whether you are holding a torch to get rid of spiders or other, that was another thing I thought was strange. I had forgotten about the whole spiders section of the game. There's all these different areas where spiders would come in. Like that was your...
Spiders or scarabs?
Maybe a little bit, maybe both.
A hybrid. Oh, right.
Yeah. No, it may be, no, not a hybrid of, well, just both spiders and scarabs. But I know specifically there was one section that was spiders, and then I know there was another one that might have been the scarabs or whatever. But anyway, regardless, your torch would fend them off, and that was another way they were showcasing their fire effects and everything else they were working on. It's just a great level for a showcase of what they've done. I can't think of a level in Uncharted 2 or even in Uncharted 1 where I could say, go watch this or go play this level so that you can see here's what they've got, here's what they've done. Not something that encompasses all of their achievements like that particular level in Uncharted 3. There could be some. I can't remember. And it's been forever since I've gone back to Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4, whenever I get around to it, will be the first time since finishing it in 2016 that I will have replayed it. It's the first time I've replayed any of these games since playing them for the very first time when they released. So it's been fun to go back to. Anyway, and then we talked about Vampire Survivors as well. So, Sony and Bungie sitting in a tree. $3.6 billion. And all the questions, the questions first started out is what's going to become exclusive? And Bungie has said over and over again that the games we make will be for all systems. Destiny 2 will continue to be a multi-platform game. Or did they say Destiny 2 or did they say Destiny would be? I can't remember. It's very important that you have to really, really look at the wording on these things.
I mean, at this point, it's like the last time. It really doesn't matter what they say. I mean, we'll believe it when we see it, you know? Because it's theirs now, because when they finish their contracts or whatever, they can do whatever they wanted there. It's theirs now.
Well, I'm sure there was probably something in place to say that, if you buy us, this must stay non-platform exclusive. But, I'm sure there was negotiations. Like, sure, okay, we'll hand you that. We'll give you Destiny 2 can stay on everything else. But Destiny 3, or whatever your next IP is, needs to be a PC Sony exclusive. Although, Sony has also come out and said that they are not looking to do that. They're not looking to exclusivize any of their titles, which really is hard for us to understand, right?
It means we either we will or we won't, depending on what gives us more money.
Well, yeah,
down the line.
I know.
That's why I don't say. That's why I say what you say at the beginning really means nothing to me. What I see you do down the line is what I'm going to look out for.
But what if they do? What if they do keep that promise? What if they do say that we're not going to make any of these games exclusive?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a juxtaposition of what Microsoft is doing, right? Mm-hmm. Microsoft is not being what's the word? They're not being evil with what they're doing. No. I don't want to, and saying evil is sounding like I'm
they're making business decisions,
piling it up higher than what it actually is. But the process of saying we bought this company, now it's just going to be exclusive to our system, right? Because they have said that Star Citizen from Bethesda, is it Bethesda? No, whatever. Star Citizen and Elder Scrolls 6 will both be Xbox exclusive games and Windows as well. So Xbox and PC. Those are games that are not going to be coming to PlayStation. And they like to keep pushing the Game Pass deal, where it's like, yeah, you'll be able to play them first day on Game Pass. Only on our systems, though, Windows or Xbox. So it's interesting to me to think that what if Sony does this purchase? Oh, yeah, Starfield, not Star Citizen, sorry. What if Sony does this purchase and instead of trying to beat Microsoft at their own game and say, well, we're going to make these games exclusive now, what if they say, no, Microsoft wants you to buy into their ecosystem, their Game Pass, or their console, or their Windows. We're not going to do that. Anybody on any system can play these games. It sounds odd for Sony, I will say.
So I'll say, what's the point?
Right? Yeah, I know. That's the other thing.
Because to me, the one thing I can think of is the reason you would do this is to make something exclusive. So why are you letting it? That's exactly.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I know that. I'm just trying to think of. I'm trying to think of how they can sort of compete on that level with Microsoft. And it reminds me of what happened when the PS4 and the Xbox One were being released. Microsoft was very strict in that you're not going to be able to play somebody else's games on these systems. They're all going to be tied to your account. We're going to go digital only, and all that stuff backfired. And then Sony came in and said, no, you can do whatever you want. You can do this, you can do that sort of thing. Well, over time, Microsoft and Sony seem to have switched places. Microsoft being this whole, we want people to play anywhere, or we want people to play wherever it is. We bought Minecraft, but everybody on every system can play Minecraft. We bought Bethesda, but we're going to keep some of the games exclusive, but if they still have contracts, those are going to play out, that sort of thing. But we're still moving these into exclusivity, so not so much as open to letting whoever play these games.
Bottom line to me is something's going exclusive.
Right, well, it is with Microsoft.
Yeah, it's Microsoft, yeah.
I just don't know if, and I doubt it, but if Sony uses that as sort of the anti-exclusive, where it's like, no, you're free to play this game, but it's going to be branded as ours. We're still going to make money off it regardless of where you buy it, because it's a PlayStation Studios title. You don't have to buy our consoles to play our games. You can play our games on any of these systems that we offer it for. And that would be interesting and maybe a bad idea. I'm not exactly sure. Because if you do have an exclusive, that means people are going to buy your consoles. But does it make you look like the bad guy? If you're doing exclusives and the other guy is saying, nah, you can play wherever you want to play. I don't know how that falls into people's heads as but what does Goodwill pay for, right? I mean, in a sense, that would be what it would be doing. They're just it's we're not being restrictive on how you play our games. Any system, whatever. They're not doing that right now, though, which is why I don't think they're going to do that.
Maybe if they had a bigger studio than Bungie, something with more titles available than.
That's the other thing. Sony has more money than Microsoft, but obviously to put into many other things that Sony has more. What?
I'm saying it because I'm trying to think of a bigger acquisition than Activision Blizzard. Who would be bigger?
EA. I mean, I can, EA, Ubisoft.
Something with, if they did that with something with a much bigger roster of titles that were up for grabs after a purchase of this nature,
Yeah.
then I would say, okay, that would be something else. But just Bungie, which is just Destiny, not much of an impact, really.
I like Sony overpaid by $3 billion. There's no value in Bungie. And Rapscallion says, spoken like a true Destiny fan. I was trying to get to that Lethal Migraine, saying Sony isn't cash rich. Microsoft has roughly 110 billion cash on hand still. Yeah, I know, but Sony has the money to buy more studios. And it's interesting to me that they haven't bought more than what they have, or that they haven't bought bigger types of studios than what they have. The studios that they've bought, aren't really ground-shaking purchases.
Yeah.
Was it Housemarque? They bought Housemarque, which was already making plenty of games for them with the Resogun and Returnal was another one, and a couple of other things that they made. They bought Bluepoint, which does most of the remasters that they have been doing with Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls or Dark Souls?
Demon Souls. The Demon Souls remake.
Yeah, and the Uncharted series as well. So not really something out of the ordinary, and also not really a surprise or a big deal. Bungie being the first company that is kind of a big deal that they bought. And a big deal in the sense that they paid $3.6 billion for something that a lot of people are wondering, why so much money for one game? Is really the question. I mean, maybe there's some people who still think Bungie and Halo are the same thing, and at one time they were, but they're not anymore. So really, why did you buy them for one game? I know they bought them for that one game, plus I know they're working on other things.
Yeah.
But they're only working on like one other thing, maybe two. I only know of one. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. And there's a lot of speculation on what their plan is.
I guess we won't know how the value of that purchase until they get finished with what they're working on, those one or two things.
Yeah, and then they're spending $1.2 billion to keep Destiny 2 developers from leaving the company. $1.2 billion going to the employees of Bungie. Split however they're going to split it up. Some people in higher positions will get more than some people in other positions, I'm sure.
A whole third going to just to keep y'all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and I'm sure it'll be given out over time so that you just don't give them a lot of cash and then they just up and split.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was this? Game Industry Biz says Sony plans to launch more than 10 live service games by 2026. Eurogamer asked the question, if not exclusivity, what does Sony get from purchasing Bungie? Oh, and that is a YouTube video that I am not about to watch. I wish they'd do a TLDW or something so that they could kind of give a summary of what they expect there. But yeah, that was a lot of the questions. After they said that Destiny 2 is not going to be exclusive, then it was, well, what did you buy them for? What are you going to do with them? If not, make something exclusive out of it.
Yeah. Did you see Nabokov fans response in chat about that?
Oh yeah. Let's see.
They said Sony also admitted that they purchased it because Destiny is a franchise/entertainment product, not just a game. There's information and knowledge there.
Right, I forgot to mention that.
Studio exclusive information. So what are we talking about? They're going to make a movie out of this thing or something?
Well, yeah, they're looking at television, movie, all sorts of different kind of media for the company, for the game. For Destiny, which makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
Really does.
I get that, but I'm trying to think about the story of Destiny and how.
It could be animated. It could be.
Yeah.
There's many different facets that they could go for as far as the.
Okay, I can see that. Man.
As far as media type stuff that they'll do, and I have no idea what the plan is, but I think media was on the mind.
I want to say there's enough lore in Destiny to make a series, not just a one-time
easily.
movie. They can make a series of something like. They did it with Halo a while back,
I have 4 books.
4 phone books?
Nah, not phone books. They're lore books.
Okay.
But they're about this thick. And there's 4 volumes of them, and they continue to make more of them. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I could easily see them doing some series, some shows, something. Even if it's just limited stuff on some character that we never even met, but we heard about in the lore of the game.
Yeah. I'm just thinking they did that. What was that thing on Netflix with League of Legends?
Right. Yeah.
They just did that. It was an 8-episode thing.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, 8-episode thing, yeah.
I think there's another one that's tied into League of Legends. It's on Amazon Prime now. Mm-hmm. I believe. I could be wrong. But yeah, like Rapscallion says, Grimoire, the animated series. Totally could. That, if you can develop it right, I think there's some great storytelling there in the Grimoire. I hate the fact that they couldn't include that in the game. There's that whole story about they had all this stuff written, and then it all got changed. And because there was no time to incorporate it in the game, it became this thing where you'll collect these cards as you play, and then you can go online and read the lore. It was horrible.
Yeah.
So.
Just rather take a trip to Books A Million and do something like that, man.
But I do love those lore books, by the way. They keep putting them out. I really enjoy them.
There was some lore aspects and things that I would like to have seen the story of. Like, remember that, I think it was it was a grenade launcher, a legendary grenade launcher that looked like a green dragon. And there was a story about how a Titan attached to it. And I was like, that sounds pretty interesting. I wonder what her deal was.
Well, it's not, is it Fighting Lion? No.
Something, I don't know. It looks like a dragon. It was, I mean, it was a long time ago since I
it would have been, I think it was Rise of Iron was the expansion that you probably noticed that in. Mm-hmm. You and I played Rise of Iron together after everybody else had kind of stopped. Because I think you and I played, that was the last expansion for Destiny at the time, so. And I remember you and I playing that.
Yeah, but the legendary weapons often has some type of story attached to it, and they talk about, sometimes they talk about certain characters in there who've either, died or whatever. But there was some interesting things in there that I would like to have seen expanded on.
Yeah.
So that's something that could be done with a series like
definitely
Nabokov suggested. They could do something with that.
Yep.
So I can see they can do more with it. I wasn't thinking about that. Nothing game wise, but media wise.
Well, we're coming up on a break here, and I wish there was more to say about this, but right now all we know is what they've told us, and the rest of it's speculation.
Yeah.
Because there's been nothing else released other than we're not going to do any exclusives, but I don't. There was wording with Destiny 2 because they won't make that game platform specific. You know what I'm saying? It'll still be multi-platform. Destiny 2 will.
Okay.
What a lot of people started wondering, is this going to bring back the pre-order exclusive type stuff? You know, if you play it on PlayStation, there was a time not too long ago where PlayStation players got an extra strike and an extra weapon. Completely new exotic or a new weapon or something that only PlayStation players had.
Not just a cosmetic thing. It was something significant.
It was in-game items exclusive to that system that eventually, like after a year, made itself over into the other games.
Timed exclusive, yeah.
Yeah. But it's been a long time since they've done any of that. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people were curious, are they going to bring that back now? There was wording in what they had said where something to the effect of announced content will be released as like it was announced or whatever it was said. In other words, saying that if there's something that comes up between now and then, does that break that promise, or does that not fall within those terms to be something exclusive? I don't know. Everybody tries to read real hard into the wording of these things.
Yeah.
Whether it be the Activision, Microsoft purchase, this purchase, any of these things, they look real hard into the wording to see what's going to happen to what they play or how they play. So we'll see. I don't think we'll go back to those exclusive items in game. I think that's hard for them to deal with, especially now that you have cross-play and cross-save going on. It might be a little difficult for that to work itself out again, so I'm not sure. But we'll just have to wait and see. Coming up on a break here, we have music from a game called The Waylanders, and it's the main theme from that game. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. Nope, that's not adult music. It starts out a little bit, you know, I want to say porny, but, you know. It's from Toe Jam and Earl. Also
Maybe
not something that you would do in an adult store.
Parody type, but no, not like that, no.
It's the Toe Jam and Earl theme, refunkified is what it says.
Refunkified,
Yeah.
There's some of the, there's gonna be, there's
AC
gonna-
Red
there's
said
gonna
it
be
sounded
funk in
like
the title.
AC Red said it sounded like the Night Court theme.
That was a good show.
That is good. It is great because it does. I get you. I'm right there with you, AC Wraith. I know exactly what you're talking about. Did you play more of this?
I did.
Well, you didn't mention it.
Well, I forgot.
But it's
until
also
you-
on the Switch.
Exactly.
So yeah, you wouldn't be.
I didn't venture, from
Yeah.
no.
No, Lethal Migraine would still be disappointed in you.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm just glad you're playing something. You find something that you like and play it. So yeah. Welcome back to the show. Suddenly it lost my place with what I was going to do next. Yeah, let's hit some of the news that wasn't Sony and Activision. Well, MLB The Show is going to get released on the Switch. So there is a Sony game getting released on Sony, Microsoft, and Switch, although we've covered this already from last year where Microsoft, or no, it wasn't Microsoft, it was the MLB, like the Players Association, whatever it was, the
MLBPA?
yeah, whoever was giving them the license said you need this to stop making it exclusive. It needs to be released on these other systems, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was the money is going down because because of its exclusivity.
Yeah, and if you don't do this, we're going to pull our licensing and find somebody else that'll do it.
Yeah.
And so Sony went ahead and made that happen. But that's, that was interesting as well to see that. That broke on, I think, Monday, or it may have broke Tuesday morning before the Bungie Sony thing hit, because that seemed like a pretty big deal, obviously, until Sony bought Bungie. Then Wordle, which is just a little internet, it's just a web-based word game.
Never heard of it before this.
Wordle.
Never heard of it before.
It's you just go to the website, you have 6 opportunities to guess whatever word that is the word of the day. Everybody gets the same word.
5-letter word.
It's a 5-letter word. Everybody gets the same word. You type in a guess. If they're all black letters, then none of those letters belong in the word. If they're yellow, then that means the letters belong in the word, but they're out of place. And if they're green, they're in the right place, and it's the right letter.
Okay, so that's what it was.
Yeah, and so you just keep going that way and try to guess the word. That's it, Wordle. That's it. And it got bought by the New York Times for what they said was a 7-figure sum. This dude, what are we in, 200 and something? The game's not even a year old. And it was one guy that made it. And the New York Times buying it makes sense with their whole crossword and their little games they put in the paper and stuff like that.
Now, see, I play Jumble. I've been playing that for like years,
Oh, yeah.
A couple of decades ago. I mean, when I was living with my folks in my single years, I get the newspaper, I get to the comics, and I see the Jumble in there, and I start playing that. And I think it's like Tribune, something the Tribune's got a Jumble. So New York Times has
New York
Wordle,
Times has the
yeah.
crossword, and then they also have Wordle now. They've got a lot of different stuff for the New York Times, but it seems... Anyway, they've said that it'll initially remain free, but they put the word initially in there, and everybody hovered over that word saying, well, that doesn't
exactly
mean...
what that means.
Yeah, that means it'll be free for now, and then they're going to put
For
a
a
paywall.
small fee, yeah.
Who knows what that small fee would be for if they tied it in there. They kept it free, but for a small fee, you won't have ads after every guess. You know what I'm saying? Like if you guess a word, you'll have to watch an ad before you can guess again. or something. I don't know. I don't know how it'll work. But it's going to be something dumb and stupid and annoying. Like, this guy made this one thing for his girlfriend, and it just asks for like 5 minutes of your time, maybe not even that. And it wants nothing else to do with you but to guess this word, and when you're done, you're done. You don't have to worry with it ever again until the next day if you want to do that. You know, it's not an ongoing thing that you have to worry about. It doesn't require you to click on an ad. It doesn't require you to bypass a capture or whatever it is. Just guess some words. That's it. And then, you know, corporate comes in and says, no, we can't have that. Let's see. The Activision Blizzard purchase will be investigated by the FTC. That was expected. So,
You expect anything to come of it, though?
no, I think it'll be approved, and they'll be able to do it. I can't, and if it's not, that'll be interesting to see what they do then. But yeah, earlier in the week, on Monday, I think it was, a development company called Team 17 announced that they were going to be doing some NFTs with their properties. And so one of the developing studios that are under Team 17 said, yeah, we're not gonna do this. Aggro Crab Games. We at Aggro Crab condemn Team 17's decision to produce and engage with NFTs. We believe NFTs cannot be environmentally friendly or useful, and really are just an overall grift. They put a word in between overall and grift, but I won't say it here because I can't. Please do not harass employees at Team 17 or the devs under their umbrellas, as this decision seems to have taken everyone off guard and likely came from the very top. Needless to say, we will not be working with them on further titles and encourage other indie developers to do the same unless this decision is reversed. And I guess that's just a two-person team, and they said, sure, yeah, we're going to break off. It was, by the end of the day, Team 17 had reversed its decision to work with NFTs. Yeah. They announced in one day, and they backed off in one day. In the very same day, to not engage with the NFT stuff. Good on them for doing it, but you should have at least reached out to your development houses and said, what do you think about this idea? You know, and gotten some feedback rather than just say, hey, we're doing this.
Excuse me?
Don't care who. Yeah, exactly. Nothing at all. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League delayed till 2023. I'm not worried about that. Unless they're going to do an overhaul of the whole thing. Then I'd be more interested in it, but they're not. Let's see. Oh, we had that state of play for Gran Turismo 7. I don't know if you like it's too simmy for me.
It's been a long time since I played it, but I could do with Gran Turismo.
Yeah, it's a little too simmy for me, but it's beautiful to look at. It's too simulator. It's
too much stuff you have to consider.
Well, I like to look. I was raised on the Burnout. I was raised on Rad Racer. I was raised on Outrun. I was raised on Mario Kart,
arcadey stuff,
Burnout,
yeah.
Cruisin'. Yeah, exactly. I never really got into the sim driving experience whatsoever.
Yeah. You never got into the gear ratio and things like that, and having a certain set of tires, or
I love that
cars does what. You know?
Yeah, I love when they kind of offer you that option. Like it's there if you want to. Forza Horizon 5 can do that a little bit. It doesn't go deep into it, but obviously Forza Motorsport does. But Forza Horizon 5 can go a little deep into it, and I think there's a setting you can turn on to make it very simish. But yeah, I like when they offer that because it always makes me feel like, you know what, one day I'm going to dig into this and I'm really going to tune the car and do all this other stuff and never do it. Never do it. I get overwhelmed when I get in there because there is so much you can do with the cars.
Yeah.
And it just overwhelms me.
Yeah, I think the last time I played Gran Turismo was like, how much can I do to this Volkswagen Beetle before I put it on the track? And there was a whole bunch of stuff I can do with that, and a whole bunch of cars you can do that with as well. And every time I look at the PlayStation Store for the game, it's like a ridiculous amount of cars you could pick from back and forth on that thing.
I mean, GT is the daddy, the father of the racing sim, or the console racing sim, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just gorgeous to look at, and there is so much in the game to do, as far as like photo modes and all sorts of different, just a ton of things. And so watching that I really only wanted to watch it just to see how it looked. I hadn't really been paying attention, so I kind of wanted to see how good can GT7 look on a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
It looks really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's coming out March 4th. I was expecting a delay. I think a lot of people were. Nope. It's coming out March the 4th. What else? Oh, Ghostwire Tokyo. That was another little first gameplay that we got this week as well. I don't know that I don't know that it's going to hold my interest.
Supernatural action type.
Supernatural first-person.
Yeah, supernatural first-person action game, yeah.
With a lot of magic stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like, and especially when you watch it, and I told Wendy this, like, it's like, it could have easily been a first-person Doctor Strange game because of all the magic and stuff and the way your hands and fingers and all these other things are moving. You shield exactly the same way. It just looked like Doctor Strange, the video game. Like, this is how you would make a Doctor Strange game. If you wanted to do that. That's how you would do it. It would be Ghostwire Tokyo. But I don't know. Watching the gameplay, I was suddenly like, it does not look fun to me. Maybe in VR, if they had hand mapping, so you could do the spells yourself, like certain gestures made spells happen, that'd be kind of cool. But I don't know. It was just wasn't pulling me in.
If it was a Doctor Strange game, would it have pulled you in?
Mmaybe. For the familiarity with what I was seeing and what I know, possibly.
Because I think about the Japanese anime Miko, Shrine Maiden type things, the exorcism stuff that was going on. That's what I was thinking about since Ghostwire Tokyo. That's what it looked like to me.
Okay, so what I read, and maybe it's in here, I don't know. It started, it's from Tango Gameworks and Bethesda Softworks. It started as The Evil Within 3.
Really?
Yeah. That's how development started, was Evil Within 3. And then it became what it became now, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Some new feature they threw in there, and all of a sudden they just said, let's expand on the feature, and then we got something new out of it. Maybe.
Yeah, what I'm reading here is just kind of an overview of everything, but I remember reading something that said the development of Ghostwire Tokyo actually started as development of Evil Within 3. So, yeah.
Okay.
It comes out March 25th. It is also, by the way, it's owned by Bethesda, which Microsoft owns. However, contracts were in place prior to the buying of Bethesda. So this game is going to be on Sony PlayStation 5 beginning March 25th and will not see a release on Xbox until a year later at the very least.
Yeah.
Now, it will get a release on PC, by the way. PC and Sony, or PC and PlayStation. And so that's when a year later before it reaches other consoles and Game Pass, basically. So, yeah. I was interested in it only for the fact that I kept seeing teases about it. But as soon as they showed off the gameplay, it's not that it's bad gameplay. It's just I don't think that's going to be me.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I don't think it will.
Yeah,
so
not enough to not to try it at launch, just to give it a little time afterwards or something like that. One of the things that's like, if it's like 19 or 20 bucks or something like that.
Yeah, depending on what I see of it. If it does pull me in, then I could easily wait for that. Or look at Deathloop. I kind of wanted to play Deathloop, but after a while, I'm like, okay, I can wait on that now. Because once that year exclusivity is over with, I'll be able to play it on Xbox through Game Pass. No problem. So,
because there's going to be plenty of folks, as with any new game, folks are going to be streaming it.
Yeah.
You could get a good look at the first 10 to 15 minutes and then be done with it.
Well, I did the same. That's what I did with Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
It's just, I said, well, let me look at this. $3 is not much to be asking of me, so let me look and see what my $3 gets me. And, you know, the guy was talking about how it's just this loop that gets you where it's like, it's the loot loop. And so you go through and you get this loot, and then you upgrade your character, and then you die, and then you start over again to see if you can get further, and that sort of thing. And you get all these different power-ups and stuff. I said, okay, $3, sure. That's an easy pick. And I've enjoyed it. It's one of those games you can fire up if you've got 10 minutes to kill in between something. You know, if I'm waiting on something to happen, you know, while I'm at home, logged in at work, if I'm waiting on something to happen, I'll just fire that up and play a little while of it until, you know, go through a round. And I've easily killed 10 minutes, obviously in 10 minutes, but it feels faster than that. But still, that's one of those things. It's nice to have. You saw the video. It is nothing that is demanding your computer to do anything. You know what I'm saying? It's not eating any kind of resources at all.
This ain't Crisis.
No. This ain't Crisis Light. It is like, graphically, Solitaire looks better. I'm not kidding. Have you looked at Solitaire lately on a Windows 10 machine, man?
Yeah.
They've blown that thing up. But yeah. It just doesn't require a lot of your money, your time, or power from your PC to do it. That's Vampire Survivors, by the way. What else did we have? Oh, yeah, that whole thing that Stadia seems to be just Google's getting rid of it seems like. A recent partnership with AT&T allowed customers of that service to play blah, blah, blah. Now a report further details Google's progress in turning Stadia into a white-label streaming platform, one licensed by businesses and used under their own branding. It's known internally as Google Stream, which curiously enough was one of the prototype names for Stadia. Potential clients include Bungie, though it's unclear how Sony acquiring the studio may affect that. Bungie was apparently interested in a deal whereby it would use Stadia as a back end for its own content and front end experience. Capcom's another potential client, cited by Business Insider, with the publisher apparently interested in using the tech to power demos. Google being Google is also aiming wider than the obvious. Another client announced last year that was the fitness bike maker Peloton, with a game called Lane Break getting a closed demo. Peloton's getting into the gaming thing, I guess. Or, well, no. The way Pelotons work, I could easily see them putting
something in the screen.
A game on the screen that you play while you're... yeah, totally. I could see that. Although Nintendo already did that with Ring Fit Adventure. Let's see. Current and former employees now estimate that about 20% of the focus was on the consumer platform, and the rest is selling the tech and proof of concept work for Google Stream. Exclusive titles for Stadia are now out of the question. Perhaps no wonder, as per Business Insider, at the end of 2020, Google had missed its target of 1 million active subs by around 25%. One insider quoted saying, retention was a real problem. While we won't be commenting on any rumors or speculation regarding other industry partners, we are still focused on bringing great games to Stadia in 2022, 200-plus titles. None of this news is especially surprising. When Stadia had the reception it did, Google announced it would refocus on the underlying tech and shut down the Stadia Games and Entertainment Studio. Phil Harrison, the Stadia head, reports to Google's VP of Subscription Services, while Google seems happy to keep the base Stadia service running as is, there's clearly no longer any real ambition to do anything with Stadia as a platform in its own right. So yeah, it's another... We've talked about this, and we talked about it when Stadia was released. Let's remember Google's history here. They build things, they release things, and then they kill things.
Especially if it does good. Almost
always if it does good. I still hate the fact they got rid of Google Reader. I loved the Google Reader, but then, of course, they got rid of the eyeglass thing. I get that. That was expensive, probably to make, expensive for people to buy, and nobody was doing it. Stadia seemed like a really good idea, except nobody bought into that ecosystem either.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then the last one that we had there was that Rockstar finally announced that GTA 6 development is underway and is significantly more ambitious, is what they have said. Big news found all the way at the end. Rockstar Games has now officially confirmed the next entry in the GTA franchise is currently in development. And while Rockstar didn't share any real details about the game, many will just be happy to hear that it exists. So, yeah. That's it. That's all we know about GTA 6.
Yep.
We don't have a setting. We don't even have a release window, any kind of a window. I guess they just wanted people to stop. That would take over every bit of news. Anytime they would announce something, it was more of, well, when are they going to announce GTA 6?
Yeah.
You know? Because there's nothing left for them. They did a sequel for Red Dead.
Yeah, and
Bully might be something for them to work on.
Bully should have been something they should have worked on a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because that was one of them hidden gems, man.
I know.
It was a really good game. But after the debacle they had with Red Dead Redemption Online, the way they've really... It feels like they gave up on that for the sake of GTA Online, or they have just kept something waiting in the wings for it.
Yeah.
Because the focus is on the cash cow right now, which is GTA Online.
Exactly.
The new folks are coming in, so all the focus was on that. And they've been focusing on it for, 8 years? About 8 years they've been focusing on that.
Yeah.
And so everything else has been put on the back burner.
Lethal Migraine reminds me that they don't have Dan Houser anymore. I forgot that he had left after Red Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he was... I don't want to say he was the face of the company, but really he was. His name was on every single game that they made.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, I think, was he a writer, I believe, for a lot of those games?
Hauser and
he may have been for all of them, actually. But still, he was the face and the force of Rockstar, I think. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with now that he is gone, to see if GTA 6 will be something. But yeah, Dan... Exactly. It reminds me, Dan Houser of Rockstar is like the Sam Lake of, what's their name? That I've already forgotten. What is the name of the company?
Of what?
They did Quantum Break, they did Max Payne.
Remedy?
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
God. Yeah. Thanks, thanks, Lethal Migraine. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it.
I was looking up Dan Houser, producer, voice actor, co-founder with his brother Sam, and former VP of Rockstar Games. As well producing video games, Houser was a head writer for Rockstar Games, being the lead for Bully, Red Dead Redemption, and Max Payne 3. Yeah. Also written or co-written almost all of the titles in the Grand Theft Auto series.
Yep. Yeah.
Big contribution there.
And he is not there anymore.
And he's not there anymore, so who's going to step up?
I don't think he went anywhere either. I think he just stopped. I didn't hear of him going anywhere, although he probably has some sort of non-compete in there after he left. Probably last a while, but I don't know. Well, anyway, that's really going to wrap it up here. So I want to thank everybody for joining us in the show. Thank you in the chat room. Thank you also in the Discord. Thank you, Chris, for calling in. No show next week, by the way. I know you're not going to be here next week anyway, RJ. So, yeah. No show next week. We're going to have a replay for next week. So meant to mention that at the very top of the show. Totally forgot to do it, though. But thank you all for joining us. You can go to ingamechat.net. That is our website. Scroll all the way to the bottom where you can find our Twitch link, our Discord link, our YouTube link, our Facebook link, our Twitter. It's all there. Just go there. I don't want to list them all off. But, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a fantastic 2 weeks. And we will see you 2 weeks from today. Here is music from the library level of Vampire Survivors. I unlocked that level just the other day. I have not played it, though. I'm sticking with the Mad Forest, as it were. No, we're not on TikTok, Rapscallion. Not yet, I guess. Do we need to be?
I'll work on that.
Do we need to be? Okay.
That'll
all right.
be my area.
Wendy's going to work on TikTok for us. Here is Vampire Survivors, the library level. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night.